Hello, everybody. It's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty, and it is October 31st, 2025. It's Halloween. Spooky, spooky, spooky. I don't know if we have any spooky things to show you, but we do have some things to show you, and this was a request. I have shown it before, but several months ago, someone wrote a comment, wanted to know if I'd ever finished the Christmas tree skirt that I started, 2, maybe 3 years ago. Yes, I finished it a few months ago and they want to see it again. So here it is in its entirety. Just let me get the picture in the right position. Here we go. And there it is. This is the In the Hoop project. It took a long time to make that. It's in the hoop applique. And there are many, many sections because you see the blades that radiate out from the center. And each one of those, one blade has 1, 2, 3 pieces to it, and all the pieces are embroidered. Now, the little stars in the darker blue and little moons, that's embroidered too, but not all of it. There's some stars in that, and the little swirls, those are part of the fabric. But anything you see on there that's gold or hard to see in this picture, but there's a few other things. There's embroidery in that too. And you're supposed to leave the center open. So the idea is you put it on the base of your tree, and then there's a way you can put in the binding some little straps to, tie together to hold it in place. Well, I didn't want to do that. My tree is not that big. Our tree is just a little guy. So it'll sit on the top of that. So I just put in an embroidered snowflake in the center of it, and that's where the tree will sit, and it'll be fine. So, yep, 3 years in the making, finally done. Do I recommend doing one? Only if you have a lot of time. They're not hard to do, but they take a long time. So that's what I've been up to. I'm still working on Stormy Sea as well. I'm in the home stretch as far as the top is concerned. I'm just working on the sashing and border pieces right now, and then I go to full assembly for the top. So another week or two, I'll have that, at least the top, done. And then I have to put it on Lucy, and it may be tricky because it's pretty big. It's going to put Lucy to her limit, I think. So Walter has things to show you, though. Walter got bitten by the Tula bug.
Yeah, I always admired ever since I saw Adam's shirt.
Made with the gray work.
Made with gray works. I sort of liked the gray works, and I debated whether I should get some or not, and I sort of went all in for it.
Okay, show it to us.
Okay, so for the gray works...
First, show them the whole pile.
Okay.
So they have an idea here of how much
I got
you buy.
gray works plus some blenders, so...
And there's his haul. Yeah, usually it's me with stuff like this. I didn't buy any.
So anyway, I got a bunch of the gray work stuff that came out. Then I bought a bunch of blenders because I saw the blenders when I was in the gray works, and then I thought maybe I should get some of the blenders too. So I did that. I did the gray works first, and the next day I went back and got blenders.
Are you going to show it or what?
Oh yeah. So anyway, so this is one pattern. Oh, it's upside down. Birds. I don't know if they're love birds or what they are.
They're birds.
Kind of birds.
I think they're puffins.
Oh yeah.
The heads look like puffins, but the bodies don't look like puffins.
I noticed in there here it's sort of they have, or it's sort of a heart design actually. If you see yeah. Anyway, I didn't really like that one that much, but I got it because it was there. Anyway, then I did like these ones a lot, the bears, right? And I like there's
leopards
in a light colorway, and then they have leopards in a dark colorway or a darker shade, which is similar.
So I like the darker shade better than the lighter shade.
Yeah, I don't know. I like them both. They're a little different. I think they're just, I don't know, they're different. And then there's wolves in a lighter shade. And then wolves in a darker shade.
See, she calls it gray work, but she's got pops of color through it too.
Yeah,
so.
It's gray work. It's gray base, dark grays, and and lighter grays with dots of color through it, which that is what appeals to me, is the dots of color. If it was all gray, it would be kind of boring, but I like the fact that it's got the color in it.
Well, you still have more to show.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Okay, so then I went in and got some blenders. The only thing is I wasn't sure about the striped fabric at first, but when there is a version that is got dark in it, and she didn't have any, so I would still like to get that.
Ultimate Sewing, where we got it.
Yeah. So there's this striped fabric.
Okay, but there's more in there.
Yeah, I know. There's striped fabric. This is all layered, and there's this fairy dust type stuff. This is the one that you were talking about, right? Yeah. Okay, I've got two colors.
Those are birds, not seals.
Oh no, I know. I got them mixed up. And then I got
because birds and seals look so much
gray
alike.
Stripes.
Oh, prison wear.
Yeah. And then I got some more of this fairy thing, but it's a different shade
of
gray. And that's about it there for those things. There is a color line where it's got this is the light gray with the stripes, and there's also one that's dark gray with stripes, but I couldn't get it at my store. So I will eventually get some of that as well. And then I got these. I thought they were kind of nice. I only got 1 meter cuts of these.
Yeah, no one can see.
And it's these triangles. And there's like this color gray. Oh, I've got them in 4 different shades. I've got them in a light shade, a dark
one can see that.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Or maybe it's better here.
Maybe if you take them and refolded them.
Yeah, no, they're okay. I got them in 4 different shades. You can see that there.
Okay.
Right, the light gray, a darker gray, medium gray, and different.
A light gray.
Light, dark, light, dark shades of that.
A medium, a dark medium, and a dark.
And I got that more for if I'm doing a shirt. I want to do a shirt that's got different panels on it and stuff.
He wants to do an Adam shirt.
Yeah, similar to Adam, but not as intense as Adam's. But then I want to use some of the triangle fabric and that on like the cuffs and maybe the collar or something like that, so that I'm not using the busy fabric on the collar.
So, how many meters of that fabric did you get, all in told? I know you went twice.
Yeah, so
he's giving me FOMO.
There's 22 meters.
Anybody need any of this? We'll sell it to you for $50 a meter. Yeah.
22 meters of fabric, yeah.
Mortgage. Yeah, on that one. So
we're talking about $500 worth of fabric.
When we went into the store, I went in for something very specific. Well, I went in for some more fabric for the Stormy Sea because I was afraid was going to go run short on a couple of the fabrics. And while we're in there, of course, that was there. Now, I was suffering from FOMO. I'm watching him pull it off the shelf and going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm thinking, I'd like it too, but what am I going to do with it? And that's the problem with Tula. And I said to somebody the other day, I like Tula. I mean, who doesn't? But here's the common problem that everybody says. How do I use it to make a quilt? Making a bag, making a shirt, something like that, it's really easy to figure it out. But when you go to make a quilt, because her on the ones that have the pictures, like the ones with the animals in it, they are so big, and you don't want to cut into those. You don't want half a wolf's head or something, or just the bottom of his jaw or something in your quilt. I have yet to see a design purposely made, like a pattern purposely made for Tula's fabrics that show it off. Now, I've seen some, and Tula has some, but they're fussy cut. And I don't want a fussy cut. And to be honest, any of the ones that I have seen the patterns, none of them really appeal to me. I love it in a bag. I mean, Adam uses Tula Pink all the time, from Adam Sews to make bags, and they're gorgeous with that. But I have yet to see a quilt that really makes really excellent use of her patterns. I think Tula does not design for quilters specifically. I think she designs for artists. She is an artist. So, now I know some of you will disagree with me and you'll say you've seen things that are lovely in it. And yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying anything against her design. I'm just saying that her patterns are so big that you're going to be chopping them up if you're going to put them into a quilt, unless you fussy cut. And I don't like the look of fussy cut in most quilts, because when you fussy cut something like this, you're creating usually a square. And you're going to surround that square with borders or half square triangles or something like that. But you've got this picture that's framed. And that's just not a look that really turns my crank. If it turns yours, that's fine. But I do like it. I think it's very, very pretty fabric. But then, and I had about 2 charm packs in my hand of it. And then I put them back. Because I thought, I'm never going to use them.
I'll probably have lots of scraps.
I'm sure you will. Yeah. So, I mean, when you get the scraps, don't throw your scraps out. Maybe I can make a scrappy quilt out of these Tula and see how it works, because there'll be partial things and faces and stuff. It might be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I just get a mental block when I see hers and I try to think of how to do it as a quilt. Okay, so that's all we've got to show, I think. Yes?
Yeah, that's all I have to show.
That's all you have to show.
Yeah. I have more fabric to put away
now. Well, announcements. Of course, Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays as usual. This week I'm only going to be there for half of the time, and then one of the other subscribers, she's going to take over because we're going off to get our flu shots, and it happened to fall in the middle of that. I may be back before the end of it.
That's my fault. I accidentally booked it.
Booked it on a Wednesday. Well, that's the only day she was doing the clinic. So we had no choice in the matter. But rather than not do Sewing Stephen or cutting off at noon, basically, Sue Norfleet, one of our regulars on there and who I usually have as co-host anyways with the Sew Day, she said she could take over from there. So I'm leaving everybody in very good hands at that point in time. And other things coming up, we're going tomorrow to a Guild quilt show in a place about northwest of us, north of Toronto, only about an hour away. And they call it the Gwilbury. I don't know.
Williambury. William. It's like William Bury, only with a G at the front.
Okay. But it's not William.
It's William.
It's Willem. Look at the poster. Look at it. Poster's right there. A top tray.
Yeah.
Look at the poster. Look at it.
Williambury.
Yeah. You want to say William, but it doesn't have all the letters.
Williambury.
Anyways, it's a place north of Toronto, and we don't know what to expect, but we got invited to go there because a lady that's part of that guild was at that guild quilt show that we went to a couple of months ago.
Yeah, in
Buckhorn.
Buckhorn, yeah.
And she came over with this little poster and said, love to have you guys come up. So we'll take some video. We'll see what we see. We're not sure if there's going to be vendors.
Yeah, because I looked it up online and it said that there was like going to be a coffee house or whatever. But then they did, and it's in a
they have a member boutique.
Okay.
But that would be what the people on the guild have made. Yeah. So we don't know, but there's their poster for it. So we'll see what we see.
Yeah, and I looked it up online, but it didn't really say that they were going to have vendors. So I don't know.
There are vendors up in that area.
Yeah, there are.
But
so I don't know.
Even in the picture here, and it's in a church.
Yeah. It's
in the United Church. So I don't know. But we'll see what we get up there, and I will video it, record it all for you as well, and share it with you probably on next week's So Chatty. But while we're up there, we're going to drop in on one of my subscribers that lives in that area and also is a regular on Sewing with Stephen. I had to think about my name. Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays, and that's Caroline, and those of you that are regulars on there will know who Caroline is, but she's invited us to drop in on her and that for coffee and cake or whatever. So we thought, well, we're up there anyways, we might as well see Caroline. So yeah. So that's what's coming up. Okay, today. You saw in the title, is it really cheaper to sew it? Well, we're going to think about this. Now, I know what your first answer is going to be. No, it's not. It's not cheaper to sew it. It depends. It depends. And that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at what the cost to sew a shirt, like one of these shirts that Walter makes, which is a fairly, he uses the quilting cotton, but it's a fairly basic design with it. And we're going to compare it to low-end store, a middle range, and a high-end store, and look at some things I found about doing this kind of thing as well. Like if, because a lot of people who are not sewers think it's less expensive to have somebody make them a shirt or make a shirt themselves. As opposed to what you buy in the store. But in this day and age of, I wrote this on the top of this as a note to myself. With steadily rising costs of products, inflation, high unemployment, people may be thinking of making their own clothes as a cost-saving measure. But is it really cheaper to make your own clothes? Also, there are many factors one has to consider when assessing which method is more economical. So, what is it that you're trying to achieve? What are you trying to create? Is it just something that you're going to wear around the house? Or are you looking to make something a little bit more splashy, a unique one-of-a-kind creation, that kind of thing? So, I found this article. Well, and I'll talk about the stores we're going to compare in a minute, but I'll just show you. I get it out here. Okay, here we go. I went and I used AI for this, and I asked the AI what was cheaper, making a shirt yourself or buying one. And it came up with stuff I hadn't really thought of, and I'll put it up here. So it says, in most cases, buying a shirt is significantly cheaper and faster than making one by hand due to the mass production and economies of scale used in retail industry. The true value of making a shirt by hand lies in the quality, craftsmanship, and personal satisfaction rather than the monetary savings. So the premise here is if you're going to make your own garments, you got to get out of the mindset that you're making something because you're going to save money. You're making something because you want to make something unique. Something for you that's personalized rather than something right off the rack. So they break it down into this chart with two columns. One column is making a shirt by hand, the other is buying a shirt from a store. So they say material costs. It's higher for material costs if you make it yourself. It says, while a yard of budget fabric can be inexpensive, $5 to $10, don't know where they're buying it, higher quality or specific fabrics cost more. You also need to buy additional notions like thread, buttons, or elastic. This is an important point. That is something people don't think of in the cost of making a shirt up with all the extras. I mean, you got to have buttons on your shirt, right? You got to have thread. So a lot of people just look at the price as being, okay, fabric. They talk about budget fabric. Do you want a shirt from budget fabric? If you're going to take all this time to sew a shirt together, wouldn't you want it to be a fairly good quality fabric, I would think?
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking at making the shirt for. I don't see anybody wanting to sew a shirt as a utility item because I would think that most people would want to sew a shirt because it's something they can't buy.
Yeah.
It's difficult to buy a shirt that's custom.
Yeah.
Because you're making a custom shirt for yourself or your partner.
And so it's going to be a one of a kind.
Right. And so it is, so yeah, fabric choice, you don't want to necessarily just run out and get a really cheap piece of fabric for it. I mean, if you're looking at cost saving, I don't understand the concept of cost saving for for clothing manufacturer. In the past, people that I've talked to that sewed their own clothes sewed them because they couldn't get the sizes they were wearing in a store, or they couldn't get what they were looking for in a store from off the rack type shirts. Or if you could get something unique in a store, it becomes a specialty item that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it becomes more. And the thing too, especially in men's clothes, everything is slim fit these days.
Yeah, one of the problems that we were having, or like the shirts that I make, and that is that number one problem is fit. A lot of the newer shirts that were coming out were slim fit, or they were called modern fit or something like that. And what they were doing is basically the manufacturers are saving on material and making a skinnier version,
which is great if you're 20
less material. So we were finding that we were having to buy bigger and bigger shirts just for,
and not because we were getting bigger and bigger.
Right. It because they weren't fitting right. The sleeves were too tight, or the body was too tight, or something like that. Or we'd have to find a shirt that was what they called classic fit, which was meant
big boys,
wider, right? And then the material is often either you have a choice between stripes and checks. There wasn't any kind of unique, like they weren't unique or interesting looking.
They all look the same. They've either got a stripe or they've got a check or a plaid. And color ranges, gray, black, white.
So like there's that. And if you did want something, a specialty item that looked kind of unique, then you're talking lots and lots of money.
Lots more money. For example, we have a department store in Canada that is based out of Quebec, and it essentially, where's my thing? It's called Simon's, and they've just come into Ontario. Did I lose it? Bear with me for a second. I had it here. Now it doesn't want to. Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't want to do that. Walter found a couple of pictures of some high-end products in their store. We have never been to a Simon's because they're in Quebec. But they've now come to Toronto, and they're branching out across Canada. We used to have like Eaton's, which doesn't exist anymore.
And we had Nordstrom's for a while.
Yeah, that didn't last. Where the heck did I put these bloody pictures? Here we go. Okay. This one, and I want this one. Okay. Okay, I'm with the program right now.
Okay, so I went online just to look around at these shirts. I came up with this one, which is a simple striped shirt, and it's got either some applique or some other prints on it. And it's selling for $1,495 Canadian. And it is a designer shirt by somebody by the name of Marnie, which I think is probably a big designer name now.
But let's take a closer look at this shirt. If I wouldn't want that shirt. It looks, at that price, it looks cheap. It looks cheap in the way it's been designed. So it's got this fabric with these patches. That's what they look like. They look, I guess they're part of the fabric itself, but to me it looks like someone had a patch or an embroidery machine or something like that, did fussy cut on some other fabric, and then appliqued it to the shirt.
They're actually a kind of a see-through patch. It almost looks like the fabric was manufactured like that because of the way the stripes are shining through it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks very unusual.
But there's nothing there to write home about. The buttons are pretty much your standard buttons. Yeah. And if you look at the fit of this shirt, too,
it's an oversized fit.
Well, it's very skimpy on the tail.
Yeah, it is. It's a square tail at the bottom.
It's not even a button-down collar. I mean,
No.
usually shirts that are a high-end price up there are at least button-down collars. I like a
Well,
button-down
that's why
collar.
they call it a cabana shirt, right?
Yeah, well, they can put it back in the cabana because that's a little expensive.
Well, that's a lot of money for something like that. And then they had another one here, which was a lot cheaper, only
Yeah.
$995. And if you look at it, it's a similar type material. And what they've done is that they've changed they use a different material at the front. Probably there's a different material at the back. The sleeve is a different material. The collar is a different material. They're all variations of the same stripe, right? So what they've done is to make it look unique is they've sewn different materials on together on it, which I could easily do.
Yeah.
And again, the buttons are just standard looking buttons on it. There's just a standard looking pocket on it.
Well, it isn't even really a nice looking shirt, I don't think, in the fit. Now, of course, the model is in a weird position, kind of a thing with it, and the shirt, I guess it's supposed to be that
it's an
casual
oversized mixed vertical stripe shirt.
Yeah.
And it's $1,000.
Yeah, I don't think so. So really, you should be selling the shirts you make for us for $1,000.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I can easily change the collar on it, and I have done that in the past. I often just make a matching collar, but I mean, it's easy enough to put a different color collar on it and stuff like that.
So, material-wise, too, the fabric that's in that shirt, I haven't been able to feel it because this is just a picture of it, but I'll bet you the fabric is probably not 100% anything. It's probably a cotton polyester blend.
Yeah, I use quilting cotton a lot for my shirts because it's easily available, and I like the fact that I can get it in all kinds of patterns, right? A lot of shirts are commercial shirts are made out of a fabric called poplin. Or something like that, or they actually have something called shirting material. So
what's poplin?
Poplin is it's probably what most of our shirts that we've bought off the rack are. It's sort of a cotton polyester blend.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's a man-made fiber.
Yeah.
That part of it anyways in there. Now, that's not to say that a man-made fiber is necessarily bad quality. I mean, in the old days in the 80s and the 70s when polyester came out and they were making shirts out, and that stuff was crap. But today, the blends that they use and whatnot are a little better quality. They're not scratchy. They feel softer, and they wash usually fairly well, too. But
yeah, so like those shirts that were $1,500 or whatever, they're not any better. The material's not any better quality than any other shirt.
And they are probably, you can pretty much be sure that they are made offshore. In other words, they're probably made in Bangladesh, Thailand, Taiwan, China.
Now, both of those were made by a designer called Marnie, which I'm not sure. I'm not up on all the designers, but I guess it is considered a high-end.
Well, she's got a name, I guess.
Yeah.
If it is a she, I don't know, Marnie. I don't know. I've never heard this. I've never heard of that brand of shirt, Marnie. But let's look at it from point of view, say, of ones you have heard of, like Tommy Hilfiger,
Gucci.
Who else? Who else makes men's shirts?
Hugo Boss.
Yeah, Hugo Boss, things like that. Well, you're going to pay top dollar for those as well. But again, if you look at the label, they're mass manufactured. And this article that I found said right here, when it was comparing material costs, it says when you buy a shirt from a store, the material cost is going to be lower because it's mass produced. And it allows the manufacturers to purchase and produce materials at a much lower cost per item.
Well, not only that, they're buying lots and lots of material.
Well, that's what it says.
And they're buying it at wholesale price as opposed to retail price.
Yeah, but of course, you're not going to see the savings there because they're going to jack the price up. And if they can put somebody's name on the shirt or get, a branding of it, well, it's going to make it go up even higher. But if you make the shirt yourself, you are a brand. Like it's a one of a kind. You made it, you picked the fabrics, you did all the craftsmanship into it. So you are making a designer shirt too. But if you were making it for a friend, they're not going to pay $1,000 for the shirt for sure. So labor costs, okay, so it says not factored in for hobbyists, but substantial otherwise. Well, this is something that people don't take into consideration either. How much is your time worth when you're making a shirt? Now, if you're making up a garment for yourself, it's a labor of love. It's for you. But when these people come to your friends or that, or you're making them for family members who don't sew, then you're probably not figuring into, even if you were going to charge them something for it, you're probably not figuring in the hours and hours of work that you've put into it. And that's what they're saying here. Your time is the largest expense. A simple t-shirt might take a couple of hours to make, but a complex button-up could take many more. If you were to pay yourself a fair wage, and they're using the example of $15 to $20 per hour, the labor cost alone would make the handmade shirt far more expensive than a store-bought one. Okay, so what I was going to ask you is, how many hours does it take you to make one of these shirts that we're wearing?
Quite a few.
Well, give it a rough estimate.
Brendan says it takes him about 15 hours to make one. I mean, I don't know if that's...
and Brendan is a skilled sewist.
I would say it would take at least 10 hours, I guess.
Okay, because 10 hours at the lowest amount, that's $150.
Yeah.
Right there, before your fabric. They're saying inexpensive fabric, $5 to $10. Well, I don't know where they're buying it, but you're making these out of quilting cotton, so we know this is on average $20 a meter. And how many meters do you?
Well, I usually buy 3, but really I can get away with using 2.5.
Okay,
meters.
Well,
and I do have leftover with it.
Well, 2.5 meters at $20 a meter, that's $50 there. So add that to the labor, there's $200 for this shirt right there. Then we haven't figured in the thread, and we haven't figured in the buttons on top of it all. I mean, the thread is reasonably inexpensive because you wouldn't go even through a full spool of thread for one shirt.
Yeah, I don't really
but
think about how much thread I use.
No, but that's an added cost there. So let's just say for button and thread, add another $10. Minimum, you should be selling one of these shirts for $160. No, wait, what did I say? 150 plus 50. No, minimum $225 to sell one for these shirts. Now, if you were selling it as a business, as a small business for people, you got to build in some profit. So basically, it would not be unreasonable that one of your shirts would go for $300. Who's going to pay for that? That's the kicker.
People that will shop at Simon's.
Yeah, and if Simone's. And if they shop at Simone's, they're not buying a handmade shirt, because those are the same kind of people who go, handmade, ew. No, it's not designer. Well, it is designer. But so, now
so like, I mean, does it cost me more to make the shirt than it does? Yeah, if you could count my hours in. But I mean, if you don't count the hours in, just look at material and you compare it, actually, you'll find that if you're just looking at the material and forgetting about how long it takes you to make it, the price of the shirt is not that much different than what you buy off the rack.
No, depending on where you buy it from. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, they say in labor costs, built into the low price, ready-to-wear clothing is made in large factories with highly efficient assembly line processes and often lower cost labor, which is why the final product is so inexpensive. Yeah, and they're talking about low-end clothing here, the average stuff, on the rack at Walmart, that kind of thing. Now, something that people also don't take into consideration is your equipment. Now, they're saying here it's a high initial investment. For a beginner, this would include a sewing machine, scissors, a pattern, and other supplies. Even for experienced sewers, the cost of maintenance and replacing equipment adds up over time. Okay, well, in the business world, you would have that initial cost, but you would build into your price depreciation or whatever over time, the life of the equipment or whatever, which would be cheaper. They're saying the cost of manufacturing equipment is already included in the final price of the retail shirt. And they can let that, there's a term for that, and I can't think of what it is, but over time, it gets absorbed into your operating costs. However, I thought, which was interesting here, that you don't ever consider the pattern. You have to pay for a pattern.
Yes, you do.
Unless you're going to make your own pattern. but most people you have to buy a pattern. And what are patterns going for these days?
Well, they can be about, the average ones are around $10 to $20 a pattern, sometimes more. Can be 35.
Yeah. And and I mean, like most of these shirts that you make are all the same pattern.
Yeah, I've used the same pattern over and over again. So, I mean, the pattern was the initial cost, but I've made 25 shirts out of it.
So if you take the initial cost of the pattern and divide it by 25, then it's a buck or whatever for the pattern. So not so big, but a lot of people don't consider that. And if you're doing ladies' clothing, you're probably looking at multiple patterns.
What else I use in the shirt, but I don't use a lot of it, is interfacing.
Oh, yeah, didn't even think of that part of it too. So you see, there's a lot of hidden costs here that when you start to really analyze it. So the final cost then is $35 to over $100, depending on the fabric quality, complexity of the garment, and the value placed on your time. Whereas you're saying when you buy one from a store, it's $10 to $30 for a basic average quality t-shirt. Well, they're talking t-shirt. Yeah. But, even for one of these kind of shirts, I mean, you can go to Walmart. Well, let's look at what you can get at Walmart. What are the prices in Walmart these days? Well, let me
Did you look Canadian Walmart or American Walmart?
I think it's Canadian. Where did I have that? Oh, that's in the other notes. Okay, let's get the right thing up here on the screen. I can't see. There it is. It was hidden
behind your little head.
It was behind my little head, yes. Never mind. It's too complicated to explain. That's not the right one. Okay. Here we go. That's Walmart. And, okay, where's my notes? Too many. Oh, I need more screens. I really need more screens. Okay, get my little head out of the way. There we go. And bear with me, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I think I've got all the screens on. Okay, let's start with Walmart. I just went online to Walmart. I put in men's shirts, and this came up with a variety of different styles, of course, things like that. So George is their brand. Now that's a corduroy shirt, $18. Then they have this one. They say that it's on sale for $19. These are all basic shirts. $29.98, $11.60. Now here's more of the style that I would probably wear. So $18.90. So
but it says it's on sale for regularly $49.99.
Yeah, but we know when they put this up that's everybody does that. They put this higher price up and they make you think it's on sale. This is their everyday price. Yeah. Well, Walmart, would I wear a Walmart shirt? Probably not. I've looked at shirts at Walmart. These pictures make some of them look really good.
But then they've got these ones like $36.99 and so it varies.
It varies. But what I'm saying is the quality of a shirt from Walmart, I'm sorry, I'm picky. These look good in these pictures. No, this is not. I won't buy a Walmart shirt. I have felt the fabric that's in them. It is weird feeling.
Well, I don't like the really silky feeling materials that a lot of the shirts come in now.
Yeah, that's called polyester.
Yeah, it's a really, really polyester type style fabric.
And if you notice something about the way these shirts are cut, look at this one. That doesn't look right.
Well, it's a slim fit.
Yeah, but look at the rolls in it. Like if you're going to take a picture of a shirt, why would it be? I suspect that it's it's $15.20. Yeah. What are you going to get for $15.20? Now, here's a little designer one. This one's a little different. But I can tell you right from looking at this picture that is...
that silky type.
Yeah, it's that stuff. It's a polyester. Yeah. It's a type of polyester. And I don't like the feel of that. So, you get what you pay for. If that's all you want, then sure, I would call these throwaway shirts. You know, wear it once, throw it away. So let's go to something. Let's go to Costco, because actually Costco's and we both have bought in Costco shirts before. And the problem with Costco shirts is there's not a great deal of style to them. They're basically this. They love the plaids and stripes. See, there's your stripes. They're saying $12.97 for that one's $18.99 for that. I have found that most of their shirts run around anywhere from about $18.99 to about $30 on average. They are good quality though. They wash well.
You have a limited selection.
But you have a limited selection. Well, you can see here, and these other ones are not shirts, they're sweaters. But even still, even in that, it's like okay.
And you also have to watch the fit of those too. So.
Yes. So, you know, then you've got Simone's, which is a high-end department store, as I already mentioned. So here you go, $89, $158. Polo, Ralph Lauren. Okay, now you're paying for the name. I have had polo shirts before. I like them. They have a nice fit when I could fit into them. But you want to know something? You see this one that they're showing here? That is probably a cotton blend. I have found they don't wash all that well. After a few washes, they start to look a little ratty. And you're paying $158 and more for them. Here's what Walter was saying before. Modern fit. You know, that meaning slim fit. These are more flannel. But you see, now average cost for a shirt, last time I looked to buy a shirt, they were running around $89 to $100 for a shirt. And not for anything. Well, look at these. Look where we're picking from. I mean, this is kind of wild, I suppose. $89. I didn't put it up. We have a place here in Canada called Mark's Work Warehouse, and I used to buy a lot of my shirts.
Yeah, I was looking at them last night, and they were around $49, $59 for the shirt.
They are well constructed, wash well. Their sizes, you usually have to buy large in them, but they fit well, but there's no style to them. They are a utilitarian, what's the word I'm looking for?
Utilitarian shirt.
Yeah.
Even these ones you can see again, there are stripes, checks, and checks. There isn't a lot of style to them. Now I suppose you're getting a little
well, then you get well, you see, this is kind of reminiscent here of almost like Liberty of London fabric in a way, but it's not Liberty of London. So, you know, if you don't want a shirt that everybody else is wearing off the rack, then you're going to have to make it yourself. Now, just to show you, because we talked about this a while ago, it's really not part of this comparison, but I thought the Liberty of London shirts that we saw and how much they want for them. Now, this is in pounds, so for Canadian dollars, you need to kind of double it. I'm not sure. Walter's getting out his phone to try to check it in American.
175 pounds.
To me,
75.
The look of this, these are nice shirts, but are they any better than any other shirts off the rack? No, I have felt them.
Yeah, not only that, I noticed that they were a very slim fit. They were very short. They weren't really meant for full-size men.
No. And
the 175 pounds converts to $230 American.
Yeah. They're not worth $230 American.
No, and actually the fabric on them was a coarse cotton.
Yeah.
They call them hemp shirts.
Yeah, well, they do have some in Tonalon, but it didn't feel the same as their Tonalon that they sell off the bolt either. They felt rougher than the stuff you could buy if you're going to buy stuff off the bolt. Now, they have a lot to choose from, but do they? Do they have a lot to choose from? No, they don't.
A lot of these fine floral prints. I
mean, okay, I'm sorry, but to me, the color combination and the flowers, to me, that looks a little feminine. Yeah. I was very disappointed when we looked in their menswear section at their shirts, because I really thought they were going to be something spectacular, and they're not, and they're very, very expensive. In fact, the shirt we were looking at, it was even more than this. It was 200 and some pounds for it. So roughly in Canadian, you have to double it. It's about 400 and more dollars for a shirt. I think not. So I just thought that'd be interesting to show you that. Okay, so I found some other things about this, and let me go back here. Okay. I think this is the one I want. Just check my notes. Yeah. So this one talks about calculating the full cost of a simple shirt. This was designed for people who want to sell them. Okay, so it says to get a final price for the customer, you must calculate the total time it will take to make the shirt and add material costs. So, examples, they say, of calculation time estimate. A simple t-shirt could take about 1 hour or so, while a more structured button-up shirt might take 4 hours or more. Now, they're basing that upon people who know what they're doing in sewing. Labor costs, then they're saying at $20 an hour, 4 hours, $80. And then the cost for fabric and the buttons and all this kind of stuff, they're saying might cost $20 a yard. Well, it could cost more than that. For a total of $40. Notions could add another $5, which would be your buttons, your thread, that kind of thing. Total $80 for labor, $45 for material, $125. I think that's a very conservative estimate, because unless you're a really experienced sewer, I think it's going to take you more than 4 hours.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like it should take a long time. It takes me more than 4 hours. I can do maybe 1 in 10. I'm not sure, but I'm talking just straight sewing. I'm not talking about cutting out the fabric.
Oh, that's something we didn't even consider. Yeah,
because it takes me an hour and a half just to cut out the fabric. Then I have to interface the collar, and I have to cut out interfacing for the button band, and so yeah, cutting it out takes me over an hour and a half or whatever.
And that is something that didn't come up. It nowhere in any things I found did it talk about the process of cutting, adding that in. I guess that could be part of your labor cost, but and here they're not even taking into consideration the pattern.
Yeah.
Either. So this is definitely a lowball price on this kind of thing.
I mean, there's pattern. There's also, I mean, this is a given, I guess, but there's also deciding what you're going to make, right? And stuff. So,
well, they also said to add to this too, complexity of the design. Simple shirt is a broad category. Basic t-shirt is much faster, easier to sew than a button up with a collar, cuffs, and buttonholes. And so adjust your time estimate based on the pattern's difficulty. Yeah. Fabric choice. Okay, so there's all kinds of different fabrics you could be making shirts out of, and they're going to cost different prices too.
Yeah, a short sleeve shirt's going to take me a lot less time than a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah. And then they talked, I thought this was funny. Target customer. Consider who you're selling to. Are you creating a budget-friendly shirt for a friend or a high-end custom garment for a discerning customer? Wait. Budget-friendly shirt for a friend? If your friend wants a budget-friendly shirt, go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself through all of this hell to make them a shirt if they're, they want something that they're just they're just throwing it on, kind of a thing. So, but yeah, the higher end the garment is, like the more embellishing you do, the finer the fabric, all that kind of stuff, that's all going to play into your pricing as well. There was another thing I think I found here that I found interesting. That was about a dress. Well, we'll come to dresses in a minute. We don't know much about dresses, but
one of the ladies I sew with, she makes almost all her own clothing. She makes her own coats. She makes everything. And she doesn't really think too much about the price, but she sometimes gets fabric at for really good prices on sale or things like that, or she reuses or she has a stash of stuff that she picks from stuff at home and that as well. So after a while, you can make stuff fairly economically. But see, she gets to pick all her pattern fabric out, the stuff that she wants. So what she always looks at it like she can pick and choose whatever fabric she has and everything else. So there's a lot of flexibility when you sew your own clothes as to what fabrics and stuff that you use and what the look of the end product is and everything else. So for some people, if they can sew their own clothes, they end up with a really nice wardrobe.
Yeah. But it's my feeling, and I don't know, I've only ever made a shirt once. I've never made a dress. I think most dresses, that at least casual dresses, are easier to make than a man's shirt. And the reason I say that is because you don't have to worry so much about the buttons with the, what do you call the placard?
Placard. Well, the placard has to be interfaced, and then you have to do all your buttonholes. But nowadays, with the machines that we have,
yeah,
the buttonholes aren't too hard to make. But
if you're making a sleeveless dress, for example, you don't have to worry about squishing in your sleeves into the holes for it.
Yes,
now,
you do.
What you do? Even if it's sleeveless?
Oh no, if it's sleeveless, no.
Oh, okay. But you will if you have sleeves. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then I suppose, well, you may have a zipper in it.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's a new wrinkle there too. So, it's probably not easier. I don't know. I've never made one. Don't intend to. But what about cost? Well, I found this. It says the cost to sew a dress yourself. Fabric. The largest variable cost is the fabric, which can range from $10 to over $30 per yard. For example, a simple casual dress might require 3 to 4 yards of fabric. This puts the material cost for a simple budget-friendly dress at approximately $30 to $40 for fabric alone. Okay, again, there's so much fabric to choose from when it comes to ladies' fashion, to address for dresses. And so I imagine you can pay quite a lot of money for fabric.
Yeah.
And hate to say it, but it will depend on the size of the person that's going to be wearing it, because the bigger the person, the more fabric.
Yeah, and the other advantage too is for ladies as well. Like women tend to have various sizes, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes finding off the rack items that work well with your body shape can be challenging.
And that will add time to a hand sewn dress, because you're going to have to take it in here, but like let it out here. There's things called darts.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what they do.
But overall, what I'm saying is that you can make a garment for yourself if you're a funny size you can
customize.
You can customize it for yourself. Like I've heard of other people that sew for themselves that say, well, I'm a funny size, I can't find anything on the rack that fits me, right? So I end up sewing because I have to. Yeah. Like either they're really, really short and they or slight figure, or they're really, really tall and they can't find anything. And
then the thing with dresses too is they talk here about notions, small items like threads, zippers, and buttons typically, and they say $5 to $10. But I'm also thinking that if you're making a something that's not so casual, a dressier party dress or whatever like that, there may be some beadwork on it. There could be some embroidery. There could be some very buttons can be very, very expensive if you're going for decorative ones. Zippers can be
can be quite pricey.
So, I mean, that all adds to the price. So in many ways, maybe making a dress, depending on...
However, I'm sure that buying dresses are not cheap either.
Well, we'll see about that in a minute here. So they're saying the total cost of materials alone could be up to $60 in materials. Well, I think that it could be even more than that. Depends on all these other factors. Yeah. But I have a really simple pattern for making a dress that'll fit all occasions. You buy yourself 3 yards of fabric, okay? You fold it in half. You hem up both ends of the fabric, okay, to the length you want. You cut a hole in the center. for your head. Throw it over your shoulders. Get a lovely belt. Put it in the middle. You've got a dress that'll go anywhere. Easy feasy. Not a problem. As long as you don't want to feel a draft, or if you don't mind a draft. Anyway, so I took out of curiosity, I went back to Walmart and I looked up casual dresses at Walmart. I don't know how people feel about buying dresses at Walmart. I have no idea. But here you go. Like there's store brand George for this thing with no shape to it. And looks like a knit. Only $34. Oh, here's something without any shape to it too. $15. Well, there you go. Now, you thought I was joking when I say you just cut a hole in the top.
It's a fleece dress
on
too.
it. You know, like really, that's a bag. That's a bag. Oh, look at this lovely thing. It's only $11. I know why.
It's a t-shirt dress.
I mean, yeah, that's just, yeah. Actually, none of these I think are very appealing. $34.97, but you can buy them cheap, and that's cheaper than what you can probably make them for. So,
yeah,
you know, good luck with that.
If that's what you want to wear.
Yeah, there's one that really shows off your curves. Not. See, that's the thing. That making your own dresses, though, you can alter to fit your unique curvature, because no ladies are built the same. You know, that's the thing. Okay, so that's Walmart. Costco sells dresses. I don't know. Is that stylish?
They're sweater dresses, t-shirt dresses.
Pig wear. I don't know.
We're not good at that.
We're not good at dresses. I have no idea what would be a lady would like. Those are skirts, but and pants and things. In many ways, I could see why a lot of ladies go for like wearing pants or something like that. I have a feeling maybe, I don't know, do pants fit better than dresses? Or I think dresses are more forgiving. I don't know, on your figure, if you're, you know, unless you're skinny little mini. I don't know. No idea. But price-wise, they're not that bad, I guess. And then if we go to Simone's, though, well, then you've got your 175, 195. Now, these have more style to them. Oh, that one looks like it's made out of leather, and if you get it for $89. Oh, geez. There's a tricky little number for 109. Whoa. Okay, this is an atomic dress. 80% chance of fallout on that one. 129. I don't know. My way of thinking, looking at these ones, I don't think that's bad prices at a place like Simone's. Yeah. But ladies' dresses go for thousands of dollars, depending.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it works the same way. You get into the designer stuff that it can be expensive.
Okay, this is something that fantasies are made out of with some men.
Schoolgirl.
Yeah, a little schoolgirl. Yeah, I don't know. Most of these look like...
Or long sweater.
Yeah, this one's a shirt.
Yeah.
That's not a dress. That's a shirt. Put on a pair of boots, though, and you can go anywhere. Hooped earrings, dresses it up for evening wear. I'm yet to see the belt thing. Because you always... Oh, there we go. You get a shirt, you put a belt on it, you've got a dress. Look at that. For $79, you can make it cheaper at home. You get one of your husband's shirts... Well, Shania Twain did it. So, you know, and throw a belt on it. You can always make a frumpy looking thing look better with a belt, I guess. But these are all, I don't think these are out of the way in price, considering what we saw for shirts. Huh. I wonder if, in general, I've heard this, but I'm not sure, because I don't buy dresses, that generally speaking,
now we're getting into the $330 ones.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting to the expensive ones. $595. Okay. Here's one. I was looking for drapes. I found that dress. Oh, this one she's got on backwards.
Oh, that looks like lingerie now.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of, well, from boardroom to bedroom, I guess. Only for two, and it's on sale. It's a velvet dress. Okay, could that be any shorter? I don't know, but you see the variety. This is the one thing. Women have so much to choose from, whereas we don't. But I am sure women would have lots to say about
those
that
are just
too.
sweaters.
Well, this is just
those
long,
are just long sweaters.
Like, yeah, really. But everybody's got boots. If you got boots, it's going to look good, I guess. The boots probably cost more than the dress. Okay, this is great for if you're out riding a horse around and at a medieval party. But anyways, yeah, I could sit here all day and cut up this clothing. Oh my God, who designed this crap? This is really like, oh, okay, that's not becoming that denim thing. God, there's some ugly outfits, and you pay for ugly. Oh, this is slutwear.
It's streetwear.
Yeah, what corner, baby, are you on? Okay, well, we're going to get comments on this. I can see that coming. Okay, so anyways, and one other thing that people always talk about, bags. You know, tote bags and whatnot. There are several of my subscribers that are into embroidery, and you can one lady, Nancy, she has made some beautiful, and when I say bags, I mean purses, basically clutches, things like that are like from Sweet Pea Designs and things like that on the embroidery machine. And she's been using a lot of pleather lately for some of them, and they look really designer. They look Gucci. And they didn't cost her Gucci prices to make them. But I did find a thing on here as well about the cost of making a bag. And they go very simple, what I found. They say, cost to make a simple bag. From selecting the right materials to incorporating intricate designs, manufacturing a tote bag involves a blend of artistry and strategic planning. On average, producing a tote bag costs between $5 to $20 per unit, depending on various factors. Down here at the bottom. Right here.
It says I cost to sew a dress.
Right here. Cost to make a simple bag.
All right.
Okay. What's the cost to get you new glasses? You have new glasses.
I didn't see a big title.
I don't think you see anything.
Okay.
Fine. Anyways, they're talking about $5 to $20 depending on what. Well, you can go higher than that. Again, it's the fabric, the time. Making a tote bag, a simple tote bag, you can do pretty quickly. But nevertheless, but if you're doing these ones that I was talking about in your embroidery machine and that, they can look really, really expensive and not cost you an arm and a leg to make either. But you have to have an embroidery machine. So there's a cost as well. And I did do a thing here. Just let me pull it up. Come back here. Let's go over here. Okay, I found Walmart bags, and I found Costco bags, and I found Simone's bags. So all right, now when we're talking bags, of course, when you buy them in the store, you're not buying a simple tote. So these are more purses or over-the-shoulder bags, that kind of thing. Of course, you can get this lovely glittery one for just $25.99. That one would be very difficult to make, I think. Well, you can buy, I guess you can buy fabric.
You can buy glitter fabric.
Glitter fabric, so you could do that.
It's hard to sew, though.
Now, these ones, they say this is leather tote purse set, now $13.48 at Walmart. I question that being leather. I think it's pleather. I think it's fake leather. I mean, I can't see a bag costing $13.48 being real leather.
Well, what's PU leather? Is PU...
that's pleather.
Yeah.
I think
that one says PU leather.
It's stinky leather. I don't know. PU. It's a large purse, $31.12. Well, these are not that bad. They don't $19.99. That looks pretty good. Mind you, you'd have to see them in real life for this. But this is the type of bag here that I was saying that one of my subscribers. It comes on Nancy on Sewing with Steven on Wednesdays. She makes bags that look like that and better. And
but PU is polyurethane.
Okay, so it's fake. It's not real leather. But she makes beautiful bags with her embroidery machine.
Yeah.
From a pattern she buys from like an outfit like Sweet Pea or whatever. And she's using pleather in them in a lot of cases, and they're gorgeous. She was showing her latest bags to us, and they look designer.
See, it goes back to depending on what you need and what you want, and how customizable that you would like it to be.
Now, Costco doesn't have much of a selection. They just have these kind of things, because when you put in bags with them, it's mostly luggage, kind of a thing. So, Simone's. Okay, now we're getting up there, $99.99. This is not necessarily, it looks like it's leather. What's it tell you? Full details. Recycled polyurethane. Recycled
polyurethane.
That's the word.
Leather.
Faux leather. Okay. Recycled. Magnetic straps. Well, really? And they're charging $99 for it. I think this is one time where really making your own bag could be less expensive. In both the time and the labor that goes into it. Because really, these are just totes. Totes are easy to make.
And actually, you'll be surprised the polyurethane leather is not that expensive.
So, any of these bags they have here are very easy to make on your own. So this is one time where basically you can make a really nice bag.
Well, those bags look pretty. The exclusive collection from Italy, $200.
Where's that? Where are you reading
There's
that?
this one, the top stitching in it.
What, this one?
Yeah, this one, $195.
Okay. Genuine leather.
Genuine
okay.
Leather.
Twill lining, zip on top, grab or shoulder handles, one small zip pocket, one large. Made in Italy. Okay, now you're talking like these are more designer style bags.
Well, that might be worth a couple.
But they're not a Gucci.
No.
And if the truth be known, Gucci bags, are they really worth several $1,000s?
No, I don't think so.
You're paying for the name.
Yeah, well, that's with clothes too, right?
Yeah. So, we have all of those kind of things on there for sewing. So, what's the bottom line of this? Well, I don't believe you should. If you are making clothing because you want to save money, no. I don't think, not if you're making something that's beyond just your basic, very, very simple. You're not.
If you can buy an off the rack piece of clothing and you're happy with wearing it, then it's probably just easier for you to buy it. But if you want to make something special for yourself,
something unique, something that suits your taste specifically, something that fits you properly, then that's the reason why you make clothing. But when someone approaches you and says, I love your shirt, and we've had this a ton of times. First thing, say, I love your shirt. Where did you get it? Walter makes them. Does he have a store? No. What would it cost for you to make me a shirt? You can't afford him.
Yeah, because I don't want to make a shirt for somebody else. I'm fine making a shirt for myself. I'm fine making a shirt for Steven. I might consider making one for a close friend, but it has to be a really close friend. And well, not the average person. And it making a shirt is
it's a labor of love.
It is. It's something I enjoy doing it, but I enjoy doing it for myself. I enjoy doing it for Steven. I'm not I don't really want to say that I'm going to do it for somebody else.
Well, I have said to people before too, that'll cost you a minimum of $300. And then the look in their eyes is, what? I said, you thought you'd get this for $20. Okay. And of course, we as quilters know this too. We know the people who are non-quilters who go, oh, will you make me a quilt? And of course, most of us will say no, unless it's a relative or a close friend. But they often will say, I'll pay for the fabric. Well, first of all, they have no clue how much fabric goes into a quilt. And so you say, well, that's great. That'll be about $200 to $300, depending. Oh, I didn't know it'd be that much. No, you were thinking you were going to get a Walmart bed in a bag kind of a thing. So we've had this discussion before about that. Well, this applies to garments too. At one point in time, making your own clothes was more economical because that's when we didn't have the mass production techniques we have today, and cheap offshore labor. And that's,
and I
iffy,
also
ethnically.
I also think that
what's the word I want?
Ethically. Yeah.
Ethically.
Or also in the past, I think a lot more people sewed their own clothes because of availability. I think they weren't, they didn't necessarily were able to find the clothes that they wanted to wear.
Yeah.
As easily as you can nowadays.
Yeah.
Now you have online shopping and everything else, whereas in the old days you didn't have any of that stuff.
So basically, you have to figure out why it is you want to sew your own clothes. If you want to sew your own clothes because you think you're going to save a lot of money, I think you should stop thinking of it that way. If you want to sew your own clothes because you want to enjoy the process of doing it and you want to create something unique and personalized to you, a statement piece, then sure, sew your own clothes with it. So anyways, I hope that what we've talked about today is, puts a little more light on it, because we've all know, if you're a sewer, you already know what the cost of things are and that. But do we? I think we do now. So anything you want to add to that about garment sewing? Anything that's we've left off?
Garment sewing can be intimidating because people get a look at it and say, oh, I'm not sure about making something like that. However, if you have some reasonable sewing skills, and you don't even need a lot of sewing skills, if you know the process of making a shirt or something like that, they can be very, you can end up with a very good product, even if you're a beginner.
And if you know how to read the pattern.
Yeah.
Get like the terminologies in that.
Because the first shirt I made was a long sleeve, and I, up until then, hadn't sewn a lot. And I came out with a very nice looking shirt at the end of that.
Even if he says so himself. He does. Well, I made a shirt with Walter's guidance, and it wasn't difficult. It's a little tedious in certain parts of it, but it was my first one. And have I made another one? No. And am I going to? Probably not, because I didn't enjoy the process. I'd rather make a quilt. But you see, everybody's different. Whatever floats your boat when it comes to sewing. Okay, so that's it for us this week on that. I hope there was maybe some things there that at least gave you some food for thought. And I don't know what we're doing next week, but I never know, as I've told you before. Open to suggestions, however. Always open to suggestions. So, okay, have a great, what's left of, well, whenever you're seeing this. If you're seeing this before the weekend's about to come up, then have a good weekend. Happy Halloween. Got to rush off and get those razor blades into those apples. And yeah, well, I'll get comments about that too. Oh, well, too bad. Everybody needs a hobby. Okay, we're going to go. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.